This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 1st day of December in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Magistrate Shirtle Isaacs has granted an order for the deportation of the 26 Haitian nationals who have been detained by the Guyana government. The order was granted although the Haitians were not charged for any crime and never appeared before the court. Attorney Darren Wade, who's representing the interests of the Haitians, said the move is unlawful and a direct violation of the rights of the Haitians.
And I'm of the firm view that the order that was granted by Madam Shirtle Isaacs is unlawful and illegal because the Haitians were not taken before the court. Their right to be heard. The police is contending that the Haitians acted in contravention of 69A of the Immigration Act. But there were no opportunity for those allegations to be placed before the Haitians and for them to give a representation, for them to be heard. So I'm of the view that we will respond to this and the state of Guyana continue to violate the Haitian rights.
The Attorney General's Chambers was expected today to respond to a motion in the High Court that was filed by Wade on behalf of the Association of Haitian Nationals in Guyana. That motion sought to get the government to produce the Haitians to the court. The Attorney General's Chambers never responded to the motion, but instead the government moved to the lower court and sought the deportation orders. Attorney Darren Wade said the Haitians were never presented to any court and were not charged for any crime, so it is difficult to understand what grounds are being used to support the deportation. He reminded that the 26 Haitians all arrived in Guyana and were granted legal entry by the Immigration Department.
Based upon my understanding, the police force, while the immigration is part of the police, it is the immigration officer who has that duty before entry. You don't grant the people entry and then you take it back, you revoke it. That also is unlawful because those Haitians have a legitimate expectation and a legitimate right to be here in Guyana for 6 months. Based upon our CARICOM arrangements and the CARICOM treaty, they are entitled to 6 months in Guyana.
The Haitians were detained one day after their arrival in the country. They have been in custody at the Hugo Chavez Center in Berbice ever since then. Wade said he intends to fight the deportation order in the High Court as it was wrongfully granted.
And we are looking at every opportunity, every necessary option that we have to bring Guyana before the international courts. We are going to check the CARICOM. We're going to look to the human rights organization and so forth. Guyana, this whatever unlawfulness that the Haitians suffered right here, at the end of the day, we'll pay the consequences. The taxpayers will have to pay the consequences because it's a clear violation.
In the past few years, Haitians have been traveling to Guyana to make their way to French Guyana and Brazil, which have large Haitian populations. The Home Affairs Minister, Robson Ben, who initially said the Haitians were suspected of being human trafficking victims, has admitted that the Haitians never come to settle in Guyana, but rather to move on to other countries. In a statement today, opposition member of parliament and shadow foreign affairs minister Amanzo Walton Desir reminded that Haiti is a full member of CARICOM, and all CARICOM nationals are entitled to enter into another CARICOM member state and be issued an automatic 6-month stay. She criticized the detention of the Haitian nationals by the government and said she has not seen similar treatment meted out to Venezuelans, Cubans, or Brazilians, who have all been coming to Guyana in large numbers. Walton Desir said the treatment of the Haitians is inexcusable and wrong and must not be encouraged. More news coming up in a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people we have
weathered every storm
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
Regardless of race,
class or religion,
we are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
Ravinas and Water Street and Anans and Regent Street just received a new shipment of leatherette in over 16 colors. Leatherette can be used in a wide variety of applications, including covering speedboat seats, cargo, and keeping commuters dry. Ideal for minibus and car seats, leatherette can be custom made to your seating requirements. Leatherette is easy to clean and sanitize and a better choice during the COVID pandemic. For fast and comfortable shopping, visit us to get the best prices in town. Ravinas and Water Street and Anans and Regent Street.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
I have many wishes for Christmas. A freshly painted home, a new vacation home, a new car, home furnishings, my dream wedding, new kitchen appliances, a new smart TV, a new phone for Zion, school fees too. Gosh, I still want this work from home office area. I just wish I could get some extra cash to clear my debts altogether. Do you feel the same? GBTI is granting 12 wishes for Christmas.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Welcome back. Guyana joined the rest of the world today in observing World AIDS Day, and it was revealed by the Minister of Health that the country is among the countries in the Caribbean that have made significant strides in achieving the first 90 of the UN AIDS 1990 goal. The 90 goal seeks to have 90% of all people living with HIV knowing their status, 90% of persons diagnosed with HIV receiving sustained antiretroviral therapy, and 90% of those receiving the antiretroviral therapy having a viral suppression. The Minister of Health said towards the end of 2019, Guyana had recorded 8,700 persons living with HIV, and 73% of those persons were on antiretroviral therapy, with 75% of them experiencing viral suppression. According to the World Health Organization, the standard antiretroviral therapy consists of the combination of at least 3 antiretroviral drugs to maximally suppress the HIV virus and stop the progression of HIV disease. Dr. Anthony said Guyana will continue to see improvements in its fight against HIV in the year to come.
We all, as Guyanese, we are accustomed to the 1st of December when we celebrate World AIDS Day. And that's also significant because we do have a number of persons in our country who are HIV positive, and we want to make sure that they can get the best care. We have worked hard, and a number of other initiatives we have been able to roll out because of international partners like PAHO, UNAIDS, and so forth. And so over the last couple of weeks, we have been very busy trying to come up with a plan for HIV for the next 5 years.
In his World AIDS Day message, the Minister of Health said HIV/AIDS remains high on the agenda for Guyana. He said this year's observance of World AIDS Day will see the launch of Guyana's revised and finalized National Strategic Plan for 2021 to 2025.
Over the next week and coming weeks, you will see a number of initiatives that would be done for persons with HIV and how we can protect ourselves from HIV as well. And that plan also would be released. So it contains a lot of activities that we want to do.
It was noted that as the country continues the fight against HIV and AIDS, everyone has a role to play and all will be encouraged to become more involved. The Health Ministry has indicated that it intends to work to strengthen its relations with non-governmental groups and religious organizations to partner with each other in the efforts to improve the country's HIV/AIDS program. As part of the World AIDS Day observances locally, a virtual discussion was hosted on the overarching HIV program in the country. Well, let's tell you now that a virtual edition of the Guyana Oil and Gas Summit opened this morning with President Irfan Ali assuring participants of his government's commitment to ensuring local businesses are optimally involved in the oil and gas sector.
The government of Guyana remains committed to ensuring that local businesses have optimum participation in the oil and gas sector. As such, we're developing a local content policy and law which will promote local participation in the sector. The policy is being developed through a consultative process, including through the examination of best practices around the world.
This month marks 1 year since Guyana started oil production. While some major projects and investments associated with the sector have been delayed because of the coronavirus pandemic, production has been continuing steadily. President Ali told the opening of the summit that an explosion of opportunities in Guyana is already taking place because of the oil sector. And he said he is convinced that more opportunities will be presented.
The emergence of the oil and gas sector will allow for an explosion of opportunities in our country, both directly and indirectly related to oil and gas.
According to the president, while the government welcomes foreign investment, it is also important for local investment in the sector to be supported.
The sector will require investment, technical skills, and capacity on an unprecedented scale. Foreign direct investment is essential for capitalizing on the opportunities which the sector promises. It is also vital to building the capacity of the local sector. Guyana therefore welcomes foreign investment to help us acquire the capital, the skills, and the technology to convert economic transformation into economic opportunities.
Local companies are being called upon to become bold and ambitious to assert themselves in the oil and gas sector. The Oil and Gas Summit is being seen as the doorway to the startup of additional investment in the oil-focused economy. The summit was organized by CWC Global Future Energy Limited and the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It has brought together local and international stakeholders in the oil and gas sector. While the Sleepin International Hotel on Church Street in Georgetown can now officially open the doors to its casino after being granted full license by the Gaming Authority to operate. The granting of the license has brought an end to an almost 6-year wait by the company. The managing director of the Sleepin International Hotel, Clifton Backus, told News Source today that he is excited and relieved with the granting of the license. He said it is definitely a weight off his shoulder. He explained that with the granting of the license, he has already moved to hire 150 persons to begin working almost immediately. Many of them were already trained and have been waiting over the past few years to begin their jobs in the casino industry. The managing director explained that refresher training has started and he looks forward to building the brand. Backus said it was his initial plan to hire 300 persons, but he noted that the COVID-19 situation has forced the hotel and the casino to scale down the number of persons to be hired as the hotel and tourism industry slowly crawls back to operation. The businessman, who is currently looking at expanding the Sleepin brand outside of Guyana, said the investment into the casino was a major one, and he lost a lot over the past few years as he waited on the granting of the license. He said he was forced to return some equipment, and now he will have to bring those pieces back in. The Sleepin International Hotel opened its doors in 2017 and had submitted a number of applications to operate the casino. Under the previous board of the Gaming Authority, there were multiple requests for information on the investors and funding for the project. Despite many pieces of information being provided, the license was not granted. A new board was installed just after the change of government in August, and the company immediately moved to have its application examined again. Backers received notice of the granting of the license recently. Chief Justice Roxanne George today announced that she will make a ruling on the 18th of January on the application before the court for the dismissal of one of the election petition cases. The Attorney General of Guyana's Anil Nandlal and the attorney for the PPP General Secretary have both called on the court to throw out the petition because of late service. The Chief Justice today indicated that she will rule on the preliminary matter before the actual arguments in the petition takes place. During today's hearing, Senior Counsel John Jeremy, who is representing the interests of the petitioners, said the arguments put forward by the attorneys on the other side ought to be ignored. He said many of the claims made by them hold no merit, and the petition should be allowed to move on.
In any event, there is no evidence that anything but the truth. They haven't put in evidence to say that this did not occur. The only evidence as to service is that which is given for and on behalf of the petitioners. So, to maintain, as the court respondent alleges that the acknowledgement of service reflects the truth, but that the body of the affidavit reflects something else, is, we say, not the correct approach. What is right and correct is that you treat the evidence given under oath.
The Attorney General and the attorney for the PPP have been arguing that there was late service of the petition on former President David Granger as a respondent. They have pointed to the law which requires that respondents be served within 5 days of the presentation of the petition. Mr. Jeremy said the documents were served on time, while admitting that there might have been a typographical error with the date of service in one of the documents. He said that cannot and ought not be used as a reason to dismiss the petitions.
All of these defendants were served in a window between the 16th and the 18th. That's the general evidence which is before you. Now, it is also consistent with the evidence given in the supplemental affidavit to the effect that service was, there was a typographical error, and that she could not have been swearing, and there's some point to this. She could not have been swearing to having served a document on the 24th, if in fact that document had been signed on the 25th. She could not properly have done it. Again, that would have been a fraud, which would have been required to be specifically itemized and proved.
The two petitions currently before the courts were filed by supporters of the APNU-AFC, who have raised questions about the legality of the declaration of the results from the recount and the recount process itself. In wake of the most recent damage to its submarine cable by a vessel, the Guyana Power and Light Company today held discussions with the Maritime Administration to examine a number of measures to prevent a reoccurrence. In a statement this evening, GPL said the two sides agreed that an additional 200-meter buffer zone on either side of the cable crossing be created. That buffer zone is to be published to alert mariners. Additionally, there will be the reinforcement of the existing regulations on bridge watch, since vessels moored at the assigned mooring points are required to have an officer on watch continuously. GPL will now be incorporated into the policing loop and will utilize its 24-hour security presence at Kingston, which overlooks cable crossing. The company said relevant information will be shared. The GPL statement also explained that the damage to its 69 kV submarine cable over the weekend occurred despite multiple actions being taken in the past to improve security because of previous incidents. Experts have said the best solution would be to bury the cables even deeper, but that would call for specialized dredging of the river, and the equipment to carry out the task is not readily available in Guyana. The submarine cables link the Viridian Hoop and Kingston power plants for the company. The cables were completely severed after being dragged on the riverbed by the anchor of a vessel. Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
Due to the impacts of the global pandemic, COVID-19 across our nation, essential organizations like us have chosen to adopt innovative approaches to meet the emerging needs of our customers while protecting our employees. Here are some quick tips to make managing your GPL bill easier while we practice social distancing. To register for electronic billing, you can use the e-billing tab on your website. To access your bill balance, you can use 4 options: the website live chat at gpl.net, the online inquiry on our website under billing, SMS freedom by texting your GPL reference number to 624-0400 or 608-8400, or call our call center at 226-2600. A message from the Guyana Power and Light Incorporated.
I have many wishes for Christmas. A freshly painted home, a new vacation home, a new car, home furnishings, my dream wedding, new kitchen appliances, a new smart TV, a new phone for Zion, school fees too. Gosh, I still want this work from home office area. I just wish I could get some extra cash to clear my debts altogether. Do you feel the same? GBTI is granting 12 wishes for Christmas.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Been through it all.
But as a people we have
Weathered every storm.
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Across the region right now, Prime Minister of St. Lucia Alan Chastanet says he will be among the first persons there to take a coronavirus vaccine, as he moves to quell fears among the population regarding the safety of the vaccine that is likely to become available by the end of the year. The US and European regulators are moving to approve the vaccines being developed for the virus that has killed at least 2 persons in St. Lucia and infected nearly 260 St. Lucians. The pharmaceutical company Moderna, which says its vaccine is 94.1% effective in treating the virus, is applying to the US Food and Drug Administration for approval. Moderna is one of 3 companies making vaccines that seem closest to widespread distribution. The St. Lucian Prime Minister told reporters that while persons who do not have to travel may have the option of not taking the vaccine, there are going to be some companies that would require individuals to take a vaccine because the threat of being closed down at any point is disruptive to business. He said he is satisfied that despite the fact that the vaccine is being expedited, there's a lot of investigation that's taking place. In neighboring Brazil, armed men violently stormed the southern Brazilian city of Criciúma, mounting an assault on a bank. Shooting started around midnight last night and lasted more than an hour. Footage posted on social media showed the men with guns on the streets. A security guard and a military police officer were injured. The target of the raid was Banco de Brazil in the center of the city. The bank has not yet commented on how much money was stolen. Residents of the city said they first reported hearing gunshots at around midnight. Military police reported that the fire had been set in a tunnel on the main road leading to the city, presumably to prevent the security forces from sending reinforcements to the town. The police headquarters also came under attack during the bank robbery. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. Attorney General William Barr, a top ally of President Donald Trump, has said the Justice Department has found no evidence of fraud in the 2020 election. His comments are seen as a big blow to Mr. Trump, who has not accepted defeat. Trump and his campaign have filed lawsuits in states that he lost as they begin certifying Joe Biden as the winner. Since the 3rd of November elections, Mr. Trump has repeatedly made unsubstantiated claims of widespread voter fraud, and members of his legal defense team have spoken of alleged international plot to hand Mr. Biden the win. Mr. Barr said the Department of Justice and the Department of Homeland Security have investigated the claim, and so far they have seen nothing to substantiate that claim. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting.